So I've already had quite a few people ask me when it comes to tuning, how is it that I get the sound out of my snare, and how do I tune my snare? Now, I've been wanting to make a video like this for a while, where I want to kind of go in depth, specifically on the snare. I feel like snares are very hit or miss when it comes to tuning. You can either get it right on the first time or get it really wrong on the first time. And it's taken me a lot of trial and error to basically come down to the sound that I like, what I want to hear, what I want the people to hear, from my snare. And when I hit it, I want a lot of dynamic when I play on it on the head specifically. And today, that's kind of what we're gonna go over. I kind of want to do just a straight run through of me basically changing my snare drum head, live with you guys right now, and let's kind of see how it goes. So here I do have my custom vertical snare, 14x7 in depth, custom because I basically customized the color and the hardware and everything like that. And when I first got my snare drum, it came with the Evans G2 coated, so it was already nicely tuned. I've changed my head, I believe, twice, and almost every single time with different drum heads, fairly similar tuning. When it comes to me tuning it, I get a very similar sound every single time. And I'm not saying that I'm the best, right? This isn't the video to go to. This is just kind of like a tip video, I guess you could say, on how to find the sound that you want. Now, if you want to mimic the sound that I have, then basically try to copy exactly what I do. But I've had, again, a trial and error of looking at other videos. I'm going to reference 3 videos right now that I've seen, that I've kind of picked things from. My sound has changed to where I used to like to have a very deep, like low tuned snare, even with like 5-inch, 6-inch depth snares. And now that I have a 7, I like a fairly medium high to high tuning. I feel like I get a lot more just out of the snare, a lot more sound, a lot more range, and a lot more depth. Like I said, the dynamic range for me when I play soft or hard, I really want it to sound good. So again, what we're gonna do today is basically change my snare change my snare drum head. I do have to play tonight for tonight's service, so I thought, why not just give it a fresh new head. What I have on now is a Remo Ambassador X coated. I've gone between Evans and Remo. I really don't have a preference. I believe my bottom head is an Evans. It's just the stock one that I've had basically for the past year and a half that I've had my snare, and I haven't had to change it, maybe fine tune a little bit when it comes to tuning, because just like guitar strings or bass strings, you have to kind of tune things just to kind of keep it up to date. But the top head is what I've changed. And like I said, I've changed between brands, between different plies. And you guys are going to see the new drum head that I'm going to use for a second. It's actually a new head I've never used before. But first things first, you have your snare, right? I went ahead and I loosened all of the top lugs for you guys, just so you guys don't have to kind of sit there and watch me do it. What I use to muffle my snare is just, a Remo ring. Evans has their E-rings as well. This for me is enough. A lot of people I used to use the big fat snare drum. I kind of keep these here now in my little mini studio shed area where I kind of come to practice. I've used drum dots. I've used just a bunch of things just to kind of try to dampen it a little bit, because again, I have a very high tuning snare drum. So and this ring just kind of does it for me, to be honest. So I recommend it. They sell them in packs, so if you want to get one for all of your drums, please feel free. And I think they're very economical too, so you just kind of have to be careful. They bend really easily, and once they fold or crease, it's really hard to kind of get it back. So I kind of try my best to take care of it. But if it folds, I've had this one for a while, I'll just go out and buy another one. So let's go ahead. First things first, you loosen all of your lugs. You take off the head. As you can see, it's very beat up. I've been using this for quite a few months now. Even here at the top, I'm not sure if you guys can see that. It was getting bent already. So that's how you know it's a good time to kind of change it. Take this time as well to go ahead and clean your snare drum. Take care of it, right? It doesn't matter if your snare drum costs 50 bucks or 500 bucks or 5,000, go ahead and clean it. Take care of it. Trust me, the more you take care of your drums, the more you appreciate it. The more, I think the better the sound you're gonna get. Now it's not like, you know, it's alive, right? But I feel like once you kind of you invest some time into it, you learn to appreciate even the smaller things. Aside from cleaning as well, go ahead and tighten all of your lugs. Sometimes they come loose. Again, from just normal wear and tear, they'll come loose. You don't want any loose lugs or bolts or anything like that. So make sure you change those. Make sure you tighten those. Now you have your fresh new drum head. This is an Evans Strata 1000. It's a 1-ply. Again, I've gone between 1-ply and 2-ply. I've actually never used this one before. I thought it was very unique because it's not like a clear, right? You can't really see all the way through, but it's not coated either. And I was like, oh, what's that like beige kind of look? And again, it was on sale. So to be honest, like I got it for like 10 bucks. Really, really cheap. And I thought, you know what? Let's try it because I want to try to get, again, a very similar sound across like different drum heads, different brands. And I just want to show you guys that with whatever you guys have, it's possible, okay? So let's put this on there. It fits. That's a good sign. That's another thing. Make sure you get the right size, okay? Again, mine is a 14-inch snare. If you have a 13, if you have a 12, a 10, even a 15, make sure you get the right size, okay? Now I do like to line up my logo with the badge here. You don't have to, okay? That's just more of an aesthetic kind of situation there. And then the first thing I do is I just kind of finger tighten, okay? Just finger tighten as much as you can. You're not gonna be able to get it down to, you know, how tight you're gonna basically tune your snare. This actually looks really cool, to be honest. You can kind of like see through it, but not really. Like it's nice. It's a 1-ply. I hardly ever use 1-plies. The one that I had was a 2-ply. The one prior to that, the Evans G2, another 2-ply. So I'm really curious to see how this is gonna come out. So just go ahead and finger tighten. This is a 10 lug snare. Some of the other snares that you guys might have might be 6 or 8. So that might differ your tuning as well. The amount of lugs that you guys have. What's going on here? Because, you know, the more lugs you have, basically the more control you have over your sound. The lesser amount of lugs you have, then, you know, it's less control you have. But again, work with what you have, okay? You might have to tighten more or loosen more to kind of get a very similar sound to, you know, either my snare or just any other drummers out there. All right, cool. Everything is already, I would say, hand tightened. What's this? A little smudge. All right, so yeah, already it feels thinner. Okay, it feels a lot thinner than my old snare drum head. And also, I have the wires off because, or else every time I move something, the wires are kind of, you know, be making noise. So I just kind of turned them off. You will need your snare drum key, okay, or just your drum key. We're gonna be using that in a second. Now, there are different ways to tune. Now, again, I referenced a few different videos. There's also something called a drum dial. That's basically like a little machine that tunes your drums to certain like frequencies. Now I have one. I'm not gonna tune my drum to a frequency. I highly recommend watching this guy. His name is, I think, Ryan Prim on Instagram. Watch his videos. They're so cool the way he tunes them, and like they sound really good. His toms, his snare. Just kind of watch those videos, and he kind of shows you guys how to use that whole little drum dial machine. But again, we're just gonna tune this by ear. I tune most of my drums by ear. I'm not the best. It's not perfect, but this is just my way of doing it. I've been doing this for a while now, and it just kind of works for me. But I think if someone was paying me to kind of like tune their drum, I would probably use the frequency option. But yeah, so our drum is on there now. Okay, again, this looks really cool. I like it. It has like a nice little reflection. I'm not sure how it looks on the camera, but with your drum key, there's a lot of different ways. Again, there's the star method, right? That you start on one and you go across and then left and then across. Do that. If that works for you, please be my guest. So what I'm gonna do, okay, is I'm gonna start off with that kind of star method, and then I'm gonna just kind of go around with small little turns. Now, I like my tuning fairly high, so I'm gonna crank my snare pretty high, okay? So please don't get offended if you hear, you know, the little cranks. That's just the way I like to tune. So I'm doing about 3 full turns, okay? 1, 2, 3, and then back across. 1, 2, 3. And then again, I'm just kind of doing that all the way around. Your head has to sit really nicely, okay? It's gonna take not a while, but for your head to stretch, you know, if you play guitar, if you play bass, it's the same thing. It has to stretch. It has to get used to the pressure, you know, of getting pulled down. Now this is a 1-ply. With my 2-plies, I think it takes a little longer to kind of stretch. Let's kind of hear it a little bit. So it feels fairly tight already. Like if you look at it, like there's not a lot of like room, like when it comes to like the air bubbles being left out. Like it got down, you know, to that high tuning fairly quick. Now I'm just gonna go around. Now I did 2 to 3 turns on each one. I'm gonna just go around and make sure that they're all like tight. Like it's not where, you know, you have to easily like turn it. It's when you start to feel some pressure, then you kind of stop. That's at least for me. So here there was a little bit more than this one, so I'm gonna keep going until I feel some more pressure. There we go. There's also, I believe, they use it a lot on like on bicycles or like mechanics and stuff. Something called torque, like a torque level or like a torque meter or something like that, where you can tune each lug or each screw, right? Like if you're working like on a bike, to like a specific torque, so like a specific amount of pressure that bolt or lug can handle. So because we're doing this by hand and we're doing this by ear, I'm not gonna, you know, be able to measure, oh, maybe I could do 1 more turn. I might break my lug. I've done that before. Thankfully not on this drum, but I've done that before on other drums where I'm kind of like cranking it, and next thing you know, I break a lug. And that sucks because then you have to replace probably the whole the lug, kind of like where it goes into the tube, and you have to replace the lug. It's just a whole process. It's annoying, but everything is fairly tight. Again, you know, it's fairly tight. Like I'm kind of like pushing it down, letting the drum stretch. Yeah, left my fingerprints on it. Feels good. Cool. Now there's another way to kind of do this, okay? That whole tapping thing that I was doing, if you do it with a drumstick, and this is why it's good to have either the wires off or just have this like on a flat, like soft surface, like a carpet or like a chair or something like that, because then you kind of mute those wires, right? But if you kind of go around, measure those tones, okay? These sound about the same, so I kind of like that that tone there. Now I think this one is a little lower. I'm gonna tune it higher, and then it's kind of go back around. Still a little lower. Okay. Still a little lower, but I don't want to over tighten it again. Okay, sounds good. And just do this on every lug. It's gonna take a while for you to kind of get used to this. Cool. They're all fairly in that range of kind of being like a higher tuning. Again, if you put the frequency on it, you'll get the specific frequency level that you're tuning this at. But that's basically it. A lot of the times, okay, I'm not gonna do this today. A lot of the times when your snare drum just isn't sounding right, it could be your bottom head, okay? Personally, I like to tune the top head, whether it be my snare, kick, toms, whatever. I tune the top for feel, okay? So, you know, right now what I'm gonna try to do is just kind of like do some rolls on it, see how it sounds, see how my sticks kind of like bounce off of it. How does it feel for you, okay? Again, a lower tuning, which means your drum head is loose. You might like that feeling more than a tighter drum head, because obviously a tighter drum head means a higher sound, a higher pitch sound. But if you're tuning the top and you're tuning and you're lowering and you're tuning it higher and you're just not getting that sound, I highly recommend turning your snare over. Okay, you know what? Let me show you now. You're gonna turn your snare over. Now, when you turn it over, your wires are gonna be activated. As you can, I don't know if you can hear that. What you're gonna do is that you're gonna loosen them again, okay? And then you're gonna stick a stick in between. So then that kind of kills the wires from kind of interfering with the whole pitch thing. And you do the same exact thing. Now again, I'm not gonna touch the bottom head. I'm kind of happy with how the bottom head is because I just tuned the top and I'm basically done. But that is the way to kind of get the bottom sounding good. A lot of the times the bottom, like they call it the snare side head, right? And the top is the batter head. Sometimes it's too loose or it's too tight and you have to go and you have to adjust. And then the whole wires, right? Getting that wire distance and the amount of pressure of the wires on the snare side head, it's you have to fine tune it. So if it's not one thing, it's another. Okay, it's not a science. It's not, oh no, now I need to go buy a new drum head because I don't like how mine. Sorry, a new snare drum entirely because I don't like how mine sounds. I highly recommend starting again with the top head. You can't find it. Try the bottom head. You still can't find it. Maybe it's the snare wires, the distance, or the pressure here on this whole little mechanism here. Fine tune it, okay? You're gonna find that sound. I highly promise you. If not, just feel free to ask questions. DM me on Instagram, shoot me a text if you have my number. Leave a comment on a YouTube video. Do whatever you gotta do to try to reach out to me. If you do have any questions, again, not a professional when it comes to tuning or anything like that. It's just something that it saves me time from having to take my drum to like a whole drum tech or like a music store and, oh yeah, we'll get you your drum back, whatever, in 2 days. It's like, it takes me 30 minutes sometimes, 45 minutes just to kind of get it to where I want it, to sound good. So, yeah, I think it's done, okay? Again, before activating the wires, I just want to make sure the feel of the head is good, okay? No ring yet, just straight drum head. Feels good. It feels really good. I'm not gonna lie. I think that's it. I'm gonna activate the wires again without the E-ring or the Remo ring on yet. Let's see how it sounds. Okay, it's nice. It sounds really good. I know I'm only using this like wireless mic here, but it sounds good. It's very ringy, okay? Which is why, again, I use a ring. Use drum dots, use a big fat snare drum, do whatever you gotta do to make sure you get the right sound, the right amount of control on your drum, okay? Now let's try with the ring on. Yeah, it sounds good. I am really happy with this. I don't buy the most expensive stuff out there. Aside from my snare drum, right? My wife spoiled me for our anniversary last year, or was it my birthday? But I'm really happy with this drum. I'm really happy with the dynamic range that this drum allows me to kind of just I just change the head, Remo, Evans, 1-ply, 2-ply, whatever, and I get the sound that I want out of this drum head. So I'm really excited to use this tonight for our church service. I'm kind of doing this video with another purpose. If you guys have questions, if you guys have anything, I'm more than happy to answer them for you guys. I've had people from Argentina, Brazil, Mexico, Guatemala, here in the States, shoot me a DM, be like, hey, do you have this? Do you have that? Or how do you get this? How do you get that? How do you play this? How do you play that? I'm not the best drummer, okay? I'm not the most qualified. Again, let me reiterate that, but I'm more than happy to just answer any of the questions that you guys might have. And again, I'm actually here to kind of give back to you guys, okay? The last time I did a giveaway, which was of some cymbals, a cymbal pack. It was a pair of 13-inch hi-hats and I believe a 18-inch crash. I wanna give back again to you guys, okay? I've hit over 540 subscribers on YouTube. I keep feeling the love from people who comment things or who like my videos, who share my videos. If you follow me on Instagram, again, thank you so much. And today I want to give back, not to people who, how can I explain this? I want to give something back, but you have to recommend someone to win this prize. Hopefully this makes sense, okay? I have a pair of drumsticks here. They're Woodies Drumsticks. These are like a 5B kind of style of drumstick. I think they're a little longer, slightly heavier. I use a lot of 5As, but these actually they feel good, and they're meant to last. Okay, these sticks are meant to last. And if you want to go and buy some for yourself, I'm gonna leave a link in the description. I do have a 10% off code for you guys. I believe it's Matty Drums. So go ahead and use that at checkout to get 10% off your first purchase. But I do want to give away this pair of sticks. I have a pair of KZ in-ear headphones. I believe these are the EDX Pro. They are in the cyan color. And I got these again, kind of like as a, I've used these before. I use them as like practice headphones. They're a good budget beginner headphone. And I want to give these away again to the same person. And last but not least, I want to give away an hour of my time. Whether it be a Zoom call, a FaceTime. If you're here in the greater Los Angeles area, maybe we can meet in person. And I want to answer any questions for you, okay? If you want it to turn into like a lesson, please feel free. I'm more than happy to give that time to you guys. If you want it to be like a Q&A where I just answer questions that you guys might have, well, the winner of this prize, let's go ahead and let's do that. But again, what you have to do, okay, if you're watching this, if you want to win, you need someone else to recommend you. So for example, if I want to win, I would need person A to say, oh, I want Matty Drums to win this prize because, I don't know, he's a beginner drummer, etc., etc. Or he needs a brand new pair of sticks, or maybe he's been looking for some headphones. Whatever the reason is, okay, leave a comment down below of this video. Go and follow me on Instagram. I'm gonna post this specific little monologue on Instagram as well. Leave a comment there. It's only one entry per person, okay? So if you want to leave a comment here on YouTube and then a comment on Instagram, it's still gonna count as one. But if I get enough people, I'm just gonna spin a wheel. If only a few of you guys reply, then I'll just like pick a name out of the hat or something. But again, this is a way of me just saying thank you so much for watching my videos, for showing support. It's not that I'm trying to make it big or anything. I'm just trying to give back a little bit of what I feel the Lord has allowed me to do, which is play drums, which is to serve Him with music and with worship. So, yeah, drumsticks, headphones, an hour of my time, whatever that is worth to you guys. I'll let you guys decide. Again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.